This conference will now be recorded.
Hello.
Hello, good morning, Rajesh.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible, Sarita. Hi.
Okay, yeah. Morning.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Sai. I guess we have other participant, Farhad.
Hello, how you doing?
Okay.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Farhad. So,
Hello, how you doing?
Farhad, yeah, welcome to the session. So, I guess we had one full-fledged session yesterday. I'm not sure if you got the recording from the consultant.
No,
Yeah, I
Have
got it.
you?
it's my first class.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. So, yesterday we had the first class. Today
Uh,
is the second session. So, I guess you can get that recording from the consultant. It was just one first session happened yesterday, so you can go through that recording. You'll get the context of the training. So when we are just discussing about the background of an IT organization and what exactly is happening within that. So we're just trying to still set the context of the training and set the context of different aspects of an IT organization. So I guess. You would be able to catch up once you go through the yesterday's recording. Okay.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. And Saif and Sunit, I guess you both received yesterday's recording, right?
Yeah, I
Yes, we did.
received.
Okay. Okay. So if you have any questions or else if you have, any kind of, you can go through the recording. I guess if you have any questions, you can come back and we can discuss on that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Let me just start sharing my screen. So I'll take a few seconds to just to recap things. So
Sure.
we started the training session just to understand about how an IT organization is structured and organized to operate. So we did understood the difference between the business operations and the project. So again, if we are discussing about a bigger size of the organization, it doesn't not only exist only the project, it do have programs and then we do have the portfolios. So these programs are different from the programming. Programs are essentially grouping of related projects. So we are going to group the related projects under a program. Just like your project is having the project manager, you'll have a program manager. On top of it, you have a portfolio manager as such. That's more about an organization which is a big to huge category, and you need to have the grouping to take the better control of the projects as such. And then we did understood about the meaning of the stakeholders and the classification of the stakeholders like internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. Apart from that, we started understanding and started discussing about the business vertical. So we just started to understand what fundamentally how a deal gets into an organization. So the project manager, the development team members like the programmer, tester, or any other aspect, any other person is obviously going to get into the picture only once the project is in place. So, but even before the project gets kicked off, or else just to materialize the project, there should be some kind of salesperson or else a sales team who front ends the negotiation, who front ends the information. Like yesterday we did discussed about an RFP, request for proposal. So the customer is obviously going to raise an RFP which contains a detailed expectation of the software. So just a simple mobile or a laptop do have lot of information, and we do check a lot of information about the fitment of our requirement. Think about $1 million of deal. Quite obviously, we do post a lot of questions. What is the technology you are using? What all the features they do support? What is the volume it can handle? and what is the cost, what, I mean, so many questions obviously would be part of that RFP. And the pre-sales and the sales team is going to front end the sales demo, front end, negotiating the deal, filling up the RFP. But while doing all these activities, since they are not subject matter experts, they may seek some help from a product owner or else a business analyst kind of roles, who is having who is expected to obviously have a complete and in-depth analysis or in-depth understanding of the product. So the business analyst or a kind of a PO is going to do a helping role during the sales and the pre-sales team, a pre-sales discussion. But essentially, uh, the front ending is obviously going to be taken care by these people, by the sales and the pre-sales team. Once the deal is in place, if you look at this, the third vertical, like the product team is obviously going to take over and start the development of the software. So now during this stage, you'll have the project manager, developer, tester, document writer, everybody involved in executing the product. Right now, it is up to this point of time, it is just sales or pre-sales. Then onwards, it is more about the execution part. So, any questions up to this point?
No questions. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so, yes, Saif, Farhad, any questions?
I'm good so far.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. And then moving ahead, we should understand what exactly happens during the product research and the development, and what exactly this product research does. So to get an answer for this, we should understand
Yes.
a
Yeah.
different aspect, something like some point of time we were discussing that typically the IT organizations have two aspects: a product based organization and a service based organization, correct? Broadly, IT organization can be categorized as two parts, two ways: product based and a service based. And we also did discussed about an examples, like what do you mean by the product based organization? What does it mean, right? They already having some software. If an IT organization is already having a software built, pre-built, and they're just trying to sell the software to everyone, that is considered as a product-based organization. Microsoft. Microsoft do have Microsoft Windows. I just go and purchase a license of Microsoft Windows, install it, and I'll use it. Facebook, Amazon, or Apple, a typical product-based organization. They always build a software, they sell that. Apple manufactures iPhone and they just sell it. Oracle, they have a lot of huge ERP related softwares, or else fusion softwares, and then banking software. So many ready-made softwares are available. They're just if any customer is interested, they give a demo, they sell the software to them, they pay the licensing fee to them. So there could be some kind of gaps in the product. They do discuss with the customer. They fill the gaps, whatever is not supported in the software. But broadly, they always have a ready software available to sell, and the customer come back to these kind of organizations. They pay some licensing fees, or else they do some negotiation. They use the software and they pay the license for the software. The other side, we have somebody called a service-based organizations. Somebody like IBM, Accenture, Capgemini, a lot. I mean, in fact, majority of the IT organizations are dominated by a service-based organizations. How it operates, a tailor-made, just like we have a ready-made shop and a tailor-made shop. It's a tailor-made organizations, which means I'll have a big team. A reserve bench is also available to take up work at any point of time, but I don't have any ready software to deliver it to you. You come to us, a customer comes to these kind of organizations, give the business requirements, and they're going to build the software right from the grounds up, right from the beginning, right from the scratch. They do build the software. Do you understand the business
Yeah, I
models
got
of
it.
these two organizations?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, I'll just take a few more minutes to make you understand and why we are discussing about this topic. So, the focus, as I was saying that, right? The focus of this training is to understand what is the role of a product owner or else a business analyst, and what is the role of a scrum master, because the execution of this project goes hand in hand with with these two designations leading the project. So developers, programmers, testers, document writers, automation specialists, whoever is there, they're just going to execute whatever these two designations are driving. So essentially, Scrum Master is going to track the progress of the project, whereas the business analyst is a person or else a product owner is a person who is going to head the business requirements of the software, coordinate with the customer and get the requirements from them, and then identify the business gaps in the product. So the business part is going to be taken care by the product owner, and the execution part, the control of the project or else the progress of the project is going to be taken care by a scrum master. So coming back to this aspect of the difference between a product based organization and a service based organization, why we should understand it. Obviously, there is a strong reason to understand in detail about these organizations. The reason, right? Your job responsibilities are going to change depending upon the kind of organization you are getting employed or engaged. So if you look at this, in case of a product based organization, assume that you are uh, part of a service based organization. So you got a deal. Yesterday we were discussing that Citibank wanted to purchase a new software, and they approached one of the organization like Accenture. No software available. I don't have anything in my hand. So I have to get all the requirements from the customer. If they're expecting about a credit card module to replace their credit card module, I should understand how many credit card models. Fairly, we know that they issue credit cards like gold card, platinum card, or else a silver card. What is the rate of interest they are expecting to charge in case of delayed payment? How the reward point module works? Everything is a big module. How the late fee module works? So there are a lot of requirements behind that, right? There is a way how I can open a credit card account very quickly. I should do the banking system should understand the credit scoring of the customer, so that I can qualify the customer for a gold card or a silver card or else a platinum card. So I should issue the physical card. I should record the transactions. I should be able to handle the reversals of the transactions in case of any failures or else timeout of transactions. I should be able to handle the fraud instructions. Imagine the customer come back and say that flag this transaction as a fraud. I never made this transaction. Your software should be able to handle. Your software should be able to handle the reward points. Your software should be able to calculate the interest in case of delayed payments. It should generate the bill or an invoice uh, depending upon the agreed cycle. Every month or else every 45 days, it generates an invoice and sends to the customer that this is the amount you are supposed to pay, kind of thing. Reminders you have to make. So many things. I'm just discussing about the requirements at a very, very high level. So all these requirements, there is no software. Assume that in case of a service-based organization, no software existing. The business is going to give all these detailed requirements to them. As a business analyst, you have to document all these requirements. Everything you have to document, hand it over to your team, and the team is going to build the software, and the Scrum Master is going to manage the progress of the software. So the role of the business analyst or a product owner in this case is to get every requirement from the customer. Prioritization is also given by the customer. Remember, it is a customer dominated organizations. Typically, since a customer it doesn't have any software, customer is giving you all the requirements. Customers are going to give the priorities. You as a product owner or else a scrum master, you have to meticulously follow the instructions given by the customer. The other side, You have a product-based organization. Imagine that you already have a software in place. A ready-made software is available. Now Citibank has a requirement that they have to replace their existing credit card module. So what they do is they reach out one product-based organization. What is the advantage of reaching out the product-based organization? Since the software is already available, I don't need to spend too much of time to give the requirements, wait until the software is completely built and take it for their use. Readily available, I can simply see if the software is really meeting all my business requirements, then I'll purchase it. But remember, as I was saying that, right, irrespective of the complexity, or else irrespective how long you are building the product, you will have gaps. Yesterday itself I have taken an example. The product or the software whatever I'm working is existing for past close around 20-25 years, and hundreds of people working for past 20 years, 25 years on the same product. Now, if a customer comes, still they bring some gaps because every business model is different. Technology is changing. We have to keep changing the technology. Business requirements are changing. Previously, there was no WhatsApp integration required. Now they have come and asked that whenever a transaction is made, I'm expecting some kind of you know WhatsApp integration, or else I should you give a facility to reset the password using some WhatsApp communication. Previously 10-20 years back there was no WhatsApp at all. That's a new requirement. Obviously we record it as a gap, we build it for them, or else they come back and say that you have to build a mobile app. You should be able to see the statement, make the payment instantly online. Previously there was no mobiles or smartphones. But why I'm saying that, why the gaps could come, that could be because of the change in the technology, change in the way we are operating the business. Previously some point of time, to open an account somebody has to go physically, fill the physical application form, process it. Getting the score from the credit bureau itself would take 2 days. Now just like that, one click, you get a score of the customer. The decision is taken in few fraction of seconds. So right now, we build the system in such a way that at least our software, whatever we are working on, will take 7 minutes to process your application, which means within 7 minutes, I can send a notification that yes, you qualify for a loan and this is a credit card, you are eligible, and this is a kind of limit, you are eligible for your credit card. That all happens in a time span of 7 minutes. Just imagine the transformation. So that's more about the requirements. Anyway, we'll deep dive about that. But the bottom line is, imagine if the customer is having, in our example, Citibank is having some 100 requirements, and if 80 features are already supported, since we are discussing about a product-based organization, and still customers say that there are some 20 other features I'm expecting from your software, but it is not supported. Naturally, the business analyst or a product owner who is part of a product-based organization, he is going to discuss about only those 20 features which are missing in the software. Whereas in this case, if there are 100 features the customer is expecting from a software, since there is no software existing, you're going to discuss about all these 100 requirements. Whereas in this case, the business analyst has to focus about only these 20 requirements. But what is expected in this case? The product owner should be able to explain or else demonstrate the existing features to the customer, because customer doesn't know what all features your software can support. But the business analyst or a product owner is expected to have an expert level of understanding about the software, able to demonstrate supported 80 features, all supported 80 features, and then uh, convince the customer that these 20 gaps will pick up and will build for you. So my job is demonstrate these 80 features, whatever is already supported, and take the requirements of these 20 gaps, build these requirements probably in the grid timelines. Any questions up to this point?
No, please continue.
Yeah,
Go first, Sabir.
Saif. Yeah.
Yeah, no
Hello, Saif.
questions. Mhm.
Okay, you are able to relate, right? Hello, hello. Are you all
Yeah,
able to
hello.
relate? Yeah, perhaps
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
are all able to relate easily, right? Okay,
Yes.
so then now what are the challenges beyond these things you have is since my software is readily available, there is no restriction that since I sold the software to Citibank, I should not be sell it to anyone else, right? So since obviously I have a software, I will sell it to Citibank or else Bank of America or else a Chase Bank or anybody else. In this case, this the requirements are built or else the software is going to be built only for one customer, Citibank. I'm not supposed to give or sell the software to any other customer. That would be the typical agreement. But in this case, in case of a product based organization, I own the software. I can sell to
You
multiple
can sell it to
customers.
anyone. Okay, okay.
Obviously, right? So just like
Uh,
Microsoft is giving the license to anyone, it is not like that just because one customer purchased the license, you cannot say that no other customer should go and purchase the license, right? Similarly, there is a banking software. I can sell it to A or B or C.
okay,
Now,
multiple.
just like customer C is having some gaps. When I sold this software to customer A and B, probably they also may have some gaps in the software. So the bottom line is, in this case, whatever the features you are building
Sorry,
is
what kind
only
of gaps? I did not get
that
this.
just now I explained, right? So they
Uh,
may be expecting some integration with WhatsApp. It is not supported. Or else they
okay.
may be asking some reward point calculation. Probably I may be doing it in a different way, but the customer is maybe expecting the
Asking in
feature
different.
in a
Yeah,
different way.
yeah.
The
Okay.
gaps are nothing but the features,
Okay,
correct?
okay, okay. I got it. Yeah.
Feature gaps. Okay. So, but
Okay.
I'm going to get these feature gaps not only from one customer, I'm
Hmm.
getting these from customer A, B, and C, right?
See, yeah.
Now, what is the challenge for a product owner or else a business analyst in these kind of organizations? There
Yeah,
are always
you need
Mhm.
to upgrade. Yeah.
Upgrade is fine, but the challenge is right.
Okay.
You are always having a competing priorities. What do you mean by the competing priorities? Each of the customer will keep pushing that. First, you give my gaps, correct?
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
everybody will be in a hurry, right? Customer A will
Yeah.
come and say that, no, no, can you please deliver my requirements first? Obviously, customer B
Mm-hmm.
also come back and say, ask you that, no, keep any other thing aside. You first deliver my things. Each of them paid money to me, and quite
Yeah.
obviously, everyone have their own priorities. They'll be in a hurry to get their requirements first, right?
Hmm.
But in this case, the product owner or else a business analyst is a person who is going to prioritize the requirements. Remember, in case of service-based organization, it is a customer-driven software project. Customer will prioritize the requirements. In this case, I cannot ask customer to prioritize. I will get the requirements from all the customers. I will prioritize the requirements. Probably,
Okay.
uh, so typical model is something like this. In an year, you can break down the time period into four release cycles. What is four release cycles? From 1st of Jan to 31st of March. Imagine that the release number is 15.0. I'll pick up few features. Imagine there are some gaps from customer, some features required for customer A, customer B, and customer C. What I'll take is I'll take some four or five requirements of customer A, some three or four requirements of customer B, and some specific features which I internally wanted to add. All those things I'll take in release one, and I'll release the release bundle by end of March, and the release number will be 15.0. Okay, and then from 1st of April onwards, I'll pick up another release cycle. And again, I'll include a few features of customer A, B, or C. I'm just randomly giving this, and then
Hmm.
I'll do the development and I do a release bundle to you. So I'll give one simple example to relate more about that. Imagine you might have already experienced in many cases while using your mobile, it may happen that you might have experienced a crash, correct? So while using multiple apps, you get a crash. You say that, okay, the app is not responding. Send a report. to send a report, you might be getting a message, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you all
Right.
experienced that? Yeah.
Yes.
Now, when you send a report, some point of time they will get all these logs. Okay, Saif mobile got crashed. So there is a kind of exception when you are using these two mobile apps. There is a kind of memory sharing conflict, and that's the reason it hanged and it doesn't work. So they are going to record that bug which you reported a bug, right? They are going to work on that. Are they really going to send an explicit piece of fix to you asking that Saif reported one bug, you take this fix, your issue is going to get fixed with that? Are they going to send explicitly to you?
No,
Never,
it's
right?
going to be for everybody,
Yes. See,
for all the users.
occasionally, yeah, what happens is occasionally you keep on getting some fixes or else upgrades to your mobile, correct? Like if you are using mobile app, if you go to Play Store or Apple Store, you are expected to keep upgrading your mobile apps, correct? You do that, isn't it?
Right.
Or else sometimes your mobile get a flash notification that your software is going to have some major update. You have to install and then restart your mobile, correct?
Right.
Yes. So that's since Apple or else an Android is a product based organization, they may be getting a crash report from Sunita or Farhan or Saif. They all recording. They are going to fix all the issues probably in one of the cycle. They bundle all the fixes and they release it to everyone at one go. They really cannot do that independently. See, for example, if you are discussing about a service based organization, I am purchasing one specific software from one customer. If there is any kind of bug or an issue, they send it only to me because I am the only person who is using the software. Whereas while we are
Okay.
discussing about a product based organization, your mobile gets a fix. And the fix contains not only the issue reported by you, but any other enhancements or any other features which the organization intends to release it to you. They release in your release bundle. You are expected to install that software fix, and your mobile gets updated without any issues. Whenever they find some issue, they fix it, they send it as a bundle. So the bundling and the prioritization will be taken care by the product owner. So imagine the mobile is crashed for everyone. For me, it crashed. For Saif, for sorry, Farhan or then Sunita, for everyone crashed, but for different reasons. Probably,
Hmm.
see, you cannot go and ask that. No, no, you first fix my issue. No,
Hmm.
that's a call taken care by them, and then based on the prioritization, they are going to fix and they are going to deliver. So it happens all based on the releases and the release cycles. Is that clear? So depending upon the organization, imagine after the training, we all getting a job. So Farhan and Saif is going to be part of a service-based organization, and Sunita is going to be part of a product-based
Product.
organization.
Yeah.
So your designations are going to be the same. Probably it could be a product owner or else a business analyst, but your job responsibilities are going to be different. For Sunita, probably she is the person who is going to front end not only one customer, many customers, and she is going to take care about the priorities of the requirements. Whereas the role of Saif and Farhan is different. They are going to speak with the customer closely every day, get all the detailed requirements, and follow the priorities given by the customer. So your job responsibilities are going to be changed depending upon the kind of organization you are going to get engaged. Is that clear?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and remember, while you attend the interview, you should be very clear what is the kind of organization you are attending it, and that is more important. Remember, up to this point of time, when you start attending interviews, probably you may not be focusing about the kind of organization. More especially, when you imagine if you get a call from Amazon kind of organization, you should keep a point in mind that whether it is a service or a product-based organization. So while answering the questions, you have to keep that aspect in your mind because uh, a typical product-based organization, the mindset would be different. They expect that you drive the requirements, you front end the project, and you prioritize everything. So whenever you get into an interview and you start answering those questions, you should answer in such a way that you are going to drive the project and you are going to front end the project. Correct? That's
Hmm.
how you have to frame the answers. That's the reason you have to keep in mind that the designation may look same, but the job responsibilities would differ depending upon the kind of organization you are engaged. Yeah, coming back. So obviously the role of the product research and development team is obviously the business analyst is going to get the requirements from the customer, take a sign off, understand, document the requirements in detail, take a sign off from the customer and hand it over to your development team. See, there are a lot of activities in between, like you have to make the flow charts or else to keep these all these aspects in detail. That anyway we are going to deep dive subsequently, but broadly to understand, the business analyst or a PO is going to get the requirements, document it, hand it over to your development team. They are going to build the features, hand it over to testing team. They are going to test it, and document writer is going to make user manuals. And some point of time, they are going to deliver it back to the customer. My job is done, and we have to discuss about the role of the consulting team or an implementation team. So if the software development is complete, done, and delivered back to the customer, what is the role of implementation or consulting team? Can you imagine? What is the role of these people? We understand what is the role of the pre-sales and the sales team. We understand what is the role of product team and the development team. Now we have to understand what is the role of implementation or consulting team. What they do. Any guess?
Testing?
Testing is already done by team and we already delivered.
Mm,
Anyone can make a guess?
consulting. Great.
They predominantly handle three job responsibilities. In fact, four. They handle four job responsibilities predominantly.
Okay.
Four job responsibilities. What are the four? Okay, I'll give an example. If you purchase a new iPhone, what is the
Hmm.
first thing you do? How you
We'll
can
check
use
the
that new?
features. Yeah.
No, imagine that you already bought it. So you
Hmm.
got a new iPhone.
Setup.
So
Do you
what
teach
you do?
us how to use the software?
Uh, so when you start using that mobile, can anyone explain me step by step? You really got a delivery of a new iPhone. How you're
So you
going to
turn,
start using it?
right, you turn it on and then log in with your credentials and then you
Okay,
set up the phone basically.
okay, perfect. The important word is you have to set up the phone. What do you mean by the setting up a phone? You have to log in with your credentials. You have to configure the phone, isn't it? You're maybe expecting some kind of ringtone or else a background, or else you have to do some kind of configuration to ensure that the new phone is ready to use, isn't it?
Right,
Yes, that is one step. What is the second step? You have to migrate the data. You have contacts, you have photographs, you have so many things uh, existing in an old phone. You have to move it to a new phone. See, I understand if you are moving from the same phone, like if you are already using iPhone and again you are purchasing a new iPhone, things are relatively easy because it will take care of moving the data. But remember, definitely there is a step called moving the data from your old phone to your new phone, correct?
right,
That you call it as migration. It is more challenging if you are using some Android phone and you purchased a new iPhone. Moving the data from an Android phone to iPhone is not that straightforward, or other way around. You are already having iPhone, and
true.
now the new phone, whatever you are purchasing, is an Android phone. You cannot simply sync the data. You need some kind of effort to move the contacts, photographs, or whatever the required information from your old mobile to your new mobile, isn't it?
Right.
Right. Would you be able to do it on your own? Everything? Sometimes you may need some help, correct? So imagine if few of the contacts is not synced, or else few information is not synced, not moved from old to new mobile. Probably you take it to some mobile expert, and then you can take some help to move the data from one mobile to another mobile, and that step is called data migration. It looks very simple in case of a mobile, if you are taking a mobile as an example. But I'll give an example, the same example, Citibank. They're purchasing a new software. I delivered a new software. They cannot use it instantly. You have to configure. So for a simple mobile, you have so many parameters, so many settings, so much of setup you have to do. Think about a huge banking software. Hundreds and thousands of parameters will be there. What is the rounding? Two-digit decimal rounding you have to do, or four-digit decimal you have rounding you have to do to make your software work. Some configuration you have to do it, or else what is the kind of fee you have to calculate, the configuration you have to do. I don't know the software because I just purchased it. There should be some people who is aware of the software configuration, who can help me to configure the software so that it will start working for me. So you need help to configure. The consulting team or implementation team does that required configuration of the customer. They speak with the customer, they understand what is the configuration they require, they set up the software so that it is ready to use. That will be taken care by the consulting team. As a product team, I just build the software and deliver to you. My job is done. Speaking with the customer, ensuring that system is configured to work is taken care by the consulting team. And the second important, the most difficult part is the data migration. Millions of customer records are there. We are speaking about a mobile. Think about a bank is changing their software. So think that you have an account with the Citibank, you have a credit card. If they come back and say that we upgraded to a new software and you lost some $1, would you agree? Never, right? Not even a fraction of decimals you should not be losing because you are changing the software. For one customer, you can have thousands and thousands of transaction records. If they come back and say that, Saif, sorry, we upgraded the software, you lost your previous, not money, just transactions. I cannot generate the statement because the new software doesn't have old software information. I cannot generate a statement of your previous transactions. Would you agree? Never, right?
No.
You're able to understand, right? So you have to move the data of the existing customers, millions and millions of customers and their millions of transactions. You have to move from old software to new software without looking into that. You won't allow any software developer to look into your database, look your SSN number, or else what is the balance you're having. You have to mask all that information and move the data because you're handling other person's data. So if it is a mobile, obviously old mobile and new mobile is my data, and I can see that. But a developer is not expected to see any sensitive information of the customer, not a phone number, not an address, not an SSN, not the balance, not the transactions, nothing. You have to, mask the data, move the data in millions. It is a huge activity, very huge, sensitive activity. For whatever reason, if you are not able to migrate this information, the new software, even if you are having a new software, you doesn't have that information to make it work. There will be challenges. The design of old software and new software is different. The way it is designed would be different. You have to move the data, without missing even a single record. Super challenging activity out of all the software development. There could be, that's a important activity taken care by the consulting team. And the third one is user training. I don't know how to use the software. So obviously the consulting team is going to sit with the customer, spend 1 or 2 months or 3 months, whatever is the timeline they agreed. Everything is paid. Don't think that it is a free of cost. Nothing is free of cost. Super expensive. So they sit, they give the user training, make them comfort using the software. That is the third one. First one is configuring. Second one is data migration. Third one is training them, educating them how to use the software. And the fourth one is customizing. What is a customization? Even after delivering all the requirements by the product team, some point of time customer will come back with other gaps, like some reports are missing, something else are missing, and now the product team doesn't take care of this. Once they agreed that we delivered it, still if the customer is expecting some small features or else a kind of customized features, these people are going to pick up those small gaps or else a kind of reporting features. They build it for them, which is very specific to the customer. So predominantly, all these four activities will be taken care by the consulting team or an implementation team. Now, after the training, imagine that you're all going to get job in the same organization like Accenture, but one person is part of the product team and the other person is part of the consulting team. The job responsibilities of the business analyst who is part of the consulting team and who is part of the product development team is different. Imagine Saifend again is part of the product team. They are going to focus on the development part, getting the requirements, document the requirements, making the flow charts X and Y. That's it. If Sunita is part of the implementation team, she doesn't need to do focus on the development part. She has to give the training. She has to configure the system. She has to build some customizations. Or else, see, definitely there will be some role of getting the requirements and all, and everything is obviously will be there, but predominantly her role is different from your role. So again, while attending the interview or else while getting into your job, you should understand what is the kind of organization, product based organization or a consulting based organization, and within that, are you going to be part of a product team or else a consulting team? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any questions? Perfect. Let me move ahead and make understand what is the role of a support team. Software is developed and delivered, migration is done, everything is done. Now what else is required? Yes, the role of support is still there. What do you mean by the support team and why they need it altogether? Remember, there is one unique thing in an IT organization. Okay, very unique thing. If you purchase one iPhone, right, you cannot say that, okay, I'll use iPhone. After 3 months, if I'm happy and I don't see any challenges with the iPhone, I'll continue to use, or else I will give it back to you. Would anybody agree for that?
No.
Absolutely no, right? But in case of
Yeah.
software, it is very much agreed. Why it is very,
Oh,
very much
okay.
agreed is, yes. So the point is, there is a universally accepted principle that no software is a bug-free software. You cannot claim. No
Yeah.
organization, irrespective whatever is the size of the organization, how super good is the organization, no one in the world can promise that the software doesn't have any bugs. Software
Bugs.
will have bugs. You spend
Yeah.
100 years, still you'll have some bugs, knowingly or not unknowingly. Why? And what is evidence of your statement? Simple evidence is your mobile app. When you go to Play Store or Apple Store, whenever you are downloading your mobile app, try to read the description. Typically, what it says that bug fixes and performance improvements. Correct? Majority of the cases,
Hmm.
the description of that is what does it mean? So the mobile app, whatever you are using yesterday, have some bugs. They identified the bugs, they fixed it, and they released it to you through Apple Store or else a Play Store. Now they are fixing that. Is it going to stop now? Tomorrow when you download it, again you see the similar description that bug fixes and some kind of performance improvements or some changes will be there. See, it's not necessary that they are always going to fix the issues, but some improvements they do it and they, make some changes. So what does it mean? The current version, whatever you are using today, is also having some challenges, unknown challenges. They are identifying it, they are fixing it, they are going to deliver it tomorrow. Is that right? So
Yes.
before you deliver a software, you are going to make a statement to the customer that, to my best of the knowledge, I have tested the software. But it is your job responsibility to test the software and ensure that the software is stable and ready to use. If you are happy, then only you start using it. Don't come back and blame me that the software has some bugs. Yeah, I mean, you take some 3 months. There will be an agreement between the customer and the software developers, software development team. In our example, Citibank and Accenture. Once Accenture deliver the software to Citibank, it is not like that I will give a time forever. I'll say that, okay, I'll give a timeline of 3 months. In the 3 months, you start testing the software. That's the reason we have something called user acceptance testing. You test the software, you get all the understanding, or else experiment with that. You try to break the system. If you find any bugs, let me know. I will fix it. Remember, the responsibility of fixing the bugs is obviously along with the product team only. You identify the bug and give it to me. If you have any bug, I will fix it for you. Ensure
After
that the
3 months,
software
when
what.
he get the bugs, what about that?
So that all depends upon the service agreement. Usually, right, they will fix the software development company. Since I delivered the software, right, they only fix it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
before that, right, they thoroughly test it, ensure that it is working
Mm.
perfectly. And after this UAT, user accept testing time period, even customer also will get some confidence that yes, the software is working perfectly. It is ready to
Okay.
use for my day-to-day operations. They will stop using existing software. They will start using a new software. Okay, that's
Okay.
how the flow works. But in between, while doing this testing, they have to engage with support team. Why? Because imagine they found while testing they found a bug. They cannot make a phone call directly the product team or a consulting team and say that okay something is working or not working. Obviously no, right? So just like you purchased a mobile iPhone, you found some issue. Some reason the battery is not up to mark. It is draining out in 1 or 2 hours. You cannot make a phone call to Steve Jobs or somebody from Apple and complain that okay my iPhone is not working. You make a phone call to customer care people, explain your problem. They give some directions that since you unboxed it right now, you have to charge the mobile for all at least 2 hours or 3 hours. Make ensure that your charging percent is 100. You are not optimize the usage. Some directions they will give. Even after following their instructions, still if your mobile is not giving the mobile battery backup, then they'll say that okay let me replace or else do some kind of servicing to fix it. But there is one person, one layer in between, a support layer, who is going to uh, you know take all the feedback from the customer. The customers should not be overloading all the product team and the consulting team with all their questions. There should be, I mean, the customer is expected to reach out to the support team, explain the challenges. If the support team believes that yes there is really an issue, then that would be escalated to the product team or else a consulting team. They are going to fix and deliver those issues. So there is a defensive layer in between called support, who take care of the customer queries during the testing or implementation or whenever is the stage. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
what is the role of business analyst in support? There will be a role. The reason, right? Sometime the customer will come back and say that some feature is missing altogether. Your business analyst during the very beginning design discussions, they promised me that they are going to give me some feature, but I don't see that feature now. The support team doesn't know whether the promise was really given or not, isn't it? So they will reach out
Okay.
to the business analyst or a PO and they ask that the customer is claiming that one of the feature is not delivered. Is that the fact? So then the business analyst support team and the customer are going to come into a common call discuss what is missing. Is it really miss? Probably it may happen that, frankly, the customer or else a business analyst might have missed out that feature. They agree that they'll fix it, or else there could be it is just an understanding issue. Some configuration is not done properly, and that's the reason the feature is not working. So we will educate the customer that you missed it to configure this feature, and that's the reason it is not working. You configure this way, it will work. So all the support activities will be taken and front-ended by the support team. The business analyst or a product owner will help the support team if required on case-to-case basis. And finally, the role of the marketing team comes. What does it mean? I mean, fairly we know about this. We really don't need to spend a lot about this. They usually work hand in hand with the pre-sales and the sales team. Their job is to advertise about your organization, about the software, whatever is available. A simple thing. The next version of the iPhone, we fairly know what all features it may be having, because you see a lot of blogs, content marketing. You see a lot of channels which keep publishing the information about the new version of the iPhone, what all features it may have, and all that information. So that will be taken care by the marketing team. But in this case also, the business analyst or product owner is going to play an important role. You may be building some 50 different new features in the new version of the iPhone, but what has to be presented into the market, what feature has to be disclosed in the market, will be decided by the product owner. Marketing team will decide how to present it. Remember, what to advertise is taken care by the product owner. I am the person who is going to guide. You go and speak about a new phone having a 500 megapixel camera. So that is the input given by the PO, but how to advertise will be taken care by the marketing team. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes. Any questions on this topic? So we should understand how many different business verticals are there in an organization, how each of these business verticals are going to work one after one and coordinate to deliver the software, right from getting the sale deal and until it is delivered and supported for the customer support is what is the focus of this slide. Any other questions?
No.
No.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. So, right, we'll discuss one small topic and then we'll take a pause for today. So, the topic is about hosting a meeting. We all might have attended a lot of meetings or else lot of hosting. We might have invited so many other members for a meeting. It looks pretty straightforward, but still, it is a topic to discuss, more especially in an IT organization, because you, as a business analyst or a scrum master, you're going to spend more than 50% to 60% of the time only in meetings in a day. More than
Okay.
60, in fact, more than that, close to 60, 70% of the time, you're going to spend time in the meetings. Either somebody is, hosting it, you attending it, or else you are going to host the meeting and somebody will attend
Okay.
that meeting. But end of day, you spend time in the meetings. But when you speak about a meeting, right, you have to focus on three important properties of the meeting. Agenda,
Purpose.
which is nothing but the purpose of the meeting. So what does it mean?
Yeah.
Before
Need of the
you
meeting.
you have to publish the agenda of the meeting while sending the meeting invitation. You have to
Okay.
in detail write the purpose of the meeting. Remember why you need a meeting at all. These days you have messaging systems, you have an emails which you can instantly send. Instead
Yeah.
of sending a message or else email, why you are asking for the team to come for a meeting? What is the need of inviting for a meeting? You are expecting some instant answers. You are expecting some follow-up questions. Imagine there is a
Yeah.
question. You may
Some
have some
might
follow.
won't turn up on phones. Some might won't reply. So
It is, see, ignore about whether they reply or not. We are not discussing about the discipline. We are discussing about the purpose.
yeah.
The purpose is we get an instant
Instant.
answer.
Instant
If it
answers.
is,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yeah, that's the purpose of having a meeting instead of communicating in an email.
Phone call or
So,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So now, if I don't, publish the agenda, I'll simply send an invitation that we are going to have a meeting today evening 4 o'clock. I
Okay,
don't even
some
say
might
what is the
want turn up.
purpose.
Yeah.
Again, Sunita, wait. We are not discussing about the discipline. It is not like that whether they are turning up or not turning up or else not the case. Assume that people are good people. People will listen to
Okay.
you. People will come back
Okay.
to you. See, it is not the topic of the discussion is not about the discipline. It is about
Okay.
the purpose.
Okay.
Okay. So number one, if I don't publish the agenda of the meeting and I simply send a meeting invitation, Saif will come, Farhan will come, and Sunita will come, but they don't know what is the reason for the meeting. Now I instantly start asking a question that the customer is having 5 million accounts. What is the kind of hardware they have to use? Would you be able to answer it? Never, right? It is
Mm.
difficult to answer. But if I publish an agenda that the customer is looking for some hardware instruction, they're asking how much which server you have to purchase, like 250 GB RAM server or else 1 terabyte hard disk. Then they need some kind of instruction about the hardware. So if you are publishing an agenda that this is a topic we are going to discuss, you will prepare for the topic. You'll be ready to take any questions for the topic, and then you'll attend the meeting. So what is the advantage of it? There is a great probability that if I ask a question, you answer that question because you know the purpose, you might have prepared for that questions. You get answers to most of the questions. That's the reason you're expected to publish the agenda, a detailed agenda while sending the meeting invitation. That is the first part. The second part is identify and classify the participants. Who are the mandatory participants? Who are the optional participants? So while sending the invitation in the Outlook, typically we all send the invitations in the Microsoft Outlook. You have to explicitly classify out of 10 participants, these 4 participants are mandatory participants. Probably another 6 participants are non-mandatory participants. Now, what is the advantage of doing that? At some point of time, if you have to take a decision whether you have to postpone or reschedule a meeting, if one of the mandatory participants are not participating, then you say that, okay, let me reschedule because you see this. I'm expecting at least 4 mandatory participants in this case. They are not attending it. I will postpone that. But if any of the non-mandatory participants are not joining, that's fine. You still continue anyway. They classified as non-mandatory participants kind of thing. So classify the participants as mandatory and non-mandatory. That's the second part. And the third part is minutes of the meeting. Are you aware what do you mean by the minutes of the meeting?
Yes, taking notes
So
of the.
yes, taking notes of the meeting. So while you are in a meeting room, somebody is going to take a lead and record the important points whatever discussed in the meeting. That is nothing but taking the minutes of the meeting. Take notes, and after the meeting you have to publish the notes in an email. So these are the important points discussed in that meeting. You are going to send a brief notes to all the participants of the meeting. That is nothing but the minutes of the meeting. So whose responsibility is to take the minutes of the meeting? Naturally, it is a responsibility of the person who is hosting the meeting. If I'm the person who is inviting you for the meeting, primarily it is my job. But if I'm busy, I'm explaining something, or else I'm showcasing my laptop or projecting my laptop, I will not be in a position to record that, minutes. So I'll ask some help. I'll say that, uh, you know, Farhan, can you please take the lead and take notes of this meeting? So that I can publish after this meeting. So since I'm not in a position to do that, I'm asking you the help, and you're going to take that activity of recording those meetings. So essentially, this is how broadly the meeting will happen. This, if you follow these points, you're going to ensure that the meeting is successful. If you are not publishing the agenda, what happens? You may not get active responses. If you're not identifying the right participants, you'll end up having people who doesn't have any relation to the meeting, and there is a big chaos. If you're not recording the minutes of the meeting, there will be a conflict in future. Even if you discussed about a topic, probably people may tend to forget They may come back and say that no, we decided something else in that meeting, whereas you discussed if you have two options X and Y, the decision is to go with approach X. People may again come back and conflict that no, that day we decided to go with approach Y. No, if you send a minutes of meeting, you send this is what we discussed in the meeting. We discussed about approach X and approach Y, and we all agreed that we should take approach X. That you put it in the minutes of the meeting, that stands as an evidence in the future that we discussed about this topic and we all agreed to take up approach number X. Clear?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and why it is important, as I was saying that, right? 70 more than 60 to 70% of the time a BO or else a Scrum Master is going to spend time in meetings only. You have to understand the best practices of scheduling a meeting. I'll take a quick, simple example and then we'll wrap up this session for today. So if you look at this, so I'm speaking about, when I speak about a meeting, you may assume that it could be a 1 hour or else a 2 hour meeting kind of thing. But think about from the business analyst perspective. If I'm visiting the customer page to get the requirements, I have to send a detailed agenda, something like this. Imagine if the meeting is for the whole day. I'm going to go to the customer place and I'm going to discuss about the business requirements of the customer. So I have to send a very detailed agenda, something like this. Morning 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I'm going to discuss with CEO. It is more about kickstart and timelines of the project or budget of the project you have to discuss. So this person is expected to be available in the meeting only between 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. You're going to continue the meeting 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. You're going to speak with the person who explains you about the credit card billing system. And between 12 to 2, you're going to take a lunch break and you're coming back, and between 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, you're going to discuss about some kind of hardware requirements. So this person is expected to be available in the meeting room only between 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Remember, I'm taking an example where you have a day-long meetings scheduled. If it is just like a 1 or 2 hours, obviously you're going to send details about only that 1 hour, whatever you are going to discuss in that meeting room. But if it is a day long, it is pretty natural, more especially for a BA or else a PO who speaks with the customer right from the morning till the evening during the requirement gathering phase. You have to publish a detailed agenda each and every hour what you are planning to do. Then only the things are going to work out. So if I'm not publishing this, you never have any control. And tell me something, I'll give one more very important example here. If you don't publish the agenda, what will be the major challenge in this case in the meeting? You will never be able to take control of the meeting. So you might have seen a lot of game shows, lot of television interviews and all. The anchor of that program will have a great control. The celebrity may be sitting before you, or else a powerful person may be sitting before you. Still, they take control of this meeting. Probably as just an anchor of that meeting, I may not have a subject knowledge. I'm not as powerful. I'm not a celebrity, but still I take control of that meeting. I'll say that these are the questions we have to ask. This is how you have to take the proceedings of the meeting. If the timeline of that program is just for 30 minutes, you arrange the activities in that meeting in such a way that it ends within the timeline. Similarly, if you are inviting the people to a meeting, there are a lot of powerful people. The customer sponsor could be there, or else your senior management director will be there. If they start conflicting, still you should be able to take control. Probably you are just a scrum master or a BA who doesn't have much power. You are just one of an employee in that project, but still remember, you are the publisher of that meeting. You are the anchor of that meeting. You should be able to take control of that. How you can take control of that? When you publish the agenda of the meeting. Imagine unknowingly, if the meeting is going in a wrong direction, there is a conflict, people are arguing in that meeting. You can take the pause. You can say that, team, we are here to discuss about the agenda published in the meeting. I guess we are deviating from the published agenda. Can we focus on the agenda? One statement, you can take control of that meeting. It happens unknowingly. Nobody intends intentionally, make big noise in meetings. But you can take control of the meeting if you publish an agenda with one liner that team, we have already published the agenda. I guess we are deviating the topic, whatever we supposed to discuss. Can we come back and start focusing on the agenda of the meeting? One line will make everybody silent, and they come back, reset, they start discussing about the right topic. If they still have the conflict, you say that you schedule a different call and try to discuss about the topic in a different call. But for this now, for this meeting, please focus on this agenda. At least you'll be able to take control of the conflict in a meeting room. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And the second aspect
Yes.
is about the minutes of the meeting. Minutes in the sense you're going to see, this is my format. Probably I always prefer to put all the information in a boxes kind of thing because it gives a readability. If I'm writing 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs, it is very difficult to read. And if I put the information in a table, right, in one glance, a matter of few seconds, I can just quickly read and understand the essence of this message. So I'll put a topic name. Sometimes it may happen that this is agreed, or else infra related issue, it requires more information. I'll say that require one more meeting to finalize. Not concluded. You say that okay, we discussed about this but not finalized. Probably we may require one more meeting. There could be some kind of action items. Sometimes what may happen that during the discussion, Saif may promise that okay, I don't have that information ready or handy with me. I'll do one thing. Give me a couple of days. I'll give back this information after 2 days. You're going to record that as an action item. You're saying that, okay, Saif agreed to share some information by 15th of January. You're going to record. What is the purpose of this? It's an evidence that, Saif agreed to share some information in a couple of days and you're going to do a follow up after some point of time. So whatever topics discussed in that and whatever action item somebody agreed to give some input after a couple of days, they're going to record that action item in your email so that this stands as an evidence. And this is a very important email or a document, more especially for a business analyst. More importantly, when you are discussing with a customer during the requirement gathering session, we do document these minutes of the meeting sometime, because after you get the requirements, development testing will take 2 to 3 months or 6 months. After 6 months, the customer will come back and say that no, before 6 months timeline, we discussed and agreed on point X. I'm not getting it. So you have to go back, search for an email which was 6 months old, and then prove that you see this. See this. In that meeting, we discussed about this topic, and we discussed on X, or else we agreed on Y. We have to prove. And frankly, I do that. I do email mining. Most of, at least 10% of my day goes in email mining, searching for the old emails, send it back that this was an agreement, because people do conflict. Projects will have conflicts. Projects will have disagreements
Right.
for so many reasons. Why? Because there could be a point 6 months back, probably I was not part of the organization or the project. The person who was working as a business analyst resigned, left. I don't know what is agreed. If I don't record the minutes of the meeting, how a new person will know that? I cannot simply say that no, that employee is different. No, I'm a different employee. I don't know the project. You should not be giving these reasons to the customer. You're expected to track all these things. So you have to take care of these obviously all these things, and naturally bring up an evidence that this was agreed by the old business analyst. This is evidence, this is a proof. You have to record each and every information. Internal stakeholders, sometimes not necessary that you have a conflict with external stakeholders. Your conflict could be with internal stakeholders only. You should have these evidences ready. So anyway, going forward, I'll take very specific examples, but the whole idea is to make you understand what is the purpose of, ensuring that you schedule a uh, successful meeting. See, I can schedule a meeting, I can host a meeting, but making it successful is most important. And these are the steps you should follow to ensure that you really schedule or else arrange a meeting in a most successful way. Clear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Great. So I guess you will get the recording. We'll take a pause here. So do we have the bandwidth uh, to uh, to participate in the meeting tomorrow same time, or else you wanted to take pause on weekend? What is your preference? I'm available. If you are available, we can take a session, or else we can